Hey everyone, it's Tom Panos here with Deline Lewis. We've just finished a training session with a team which is done on a quarterly basis. The person you're looking at here, just to my left, I have to say that I would say would arguably be not female, but I would say over the last 2 to 3 decades, very few people that I can say in my head who has been like smashing and dominating, being, you know, like a super long successful agent over a long period of time. There's not that many, Deline, but how long have you been doing it now?
25 years.
25 years?
26 actually this year.
Okay, 26 years. Yeah. So you're the one of the owners of Lang & Simmons, Double Bay and Bondi Beach.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, since the last time we spoke to you on the real estate gym, it's not just Deline. There's Deline plus one and a half.
I've got one, I'm cooking one during 3 months, and I've got a 2.5-year-old as well.
Okay, the 2.5-year-old is a boy or girl?
She's a girl.
Okay, Deline, there's a lot of girls that watch the interviews that one of the first things that they're going to ask is, hey, hang on a second, in a situation, you got a partner?
Yes.
You got one child that's 2.5. You've got one that's coming. This is quite different to the Deline that is footloose, fancy-free, no responsibilities, just get the listing and can work 100 hours and not have to worry about anything. Yeah. How do you actually blend it all in?
I don't think I've ever been footloose and fancy-free. I wish. I always had the responsibility of, even as an agent, without having bought into the agency, feeling that was my responsibility.
Right.
So I've always had a different outlook on that. But the Deline from when you interviewed me last, which is about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, to now is just, I'm very selfish with my time. When I need to be in the office prospecting, that's what I do. I close the door like I used to do before. But I'm also very selfish with my family time as well. It's very precious to me. So what I do now is I always used to work Mondays, as you know, the doors closed, make the calls, whatever. I work a little bit longer on Monday nights now. I work till around midnight, but I do take Tuesday off because that's my baby day. And I spend it with my daughter. We do our music classes, we go to lunch, we'll go to the park, we'll go swimming, we'll do our thing. And having work Monday, when I finish work on Monday, I feel lighter. Yeah. I feel like I've really accomplished something. I did before, but I do now more because that purpose is not just making money, doing commissions, writing business, but it's also about having that work-life integration where you feel fulfilled. And it's a really, really nice feeling.
So Deline, we talked about it briefly on the session today. You see yourself as being a work-life integrator. It blends in, right? Yeah. So what you're saying is Monday, like that's a long day, Deline, isn't it?
Is.
Right?
It is.
But Tuesday, it's like this balance of responsibility and reward. Like on Tuesday, it's a different sort of pace.
Well, your life should be fun.
Yeah.
If it's not fun, it's not worth doing. And for me, work is fun. I really enjoy it. I'm passionate about it still after all this time. I hate losing a listing. Yeah. I love getting a listing. I love the fun of it. And I think as I've gotten older, I want it to be fun. I want it to be enjoyable for my owners. I want it to be enjoyable for myself, my staff. I want my days to be hard but fulfilling. Right. And I think that's a secret to life as well. You've got to have that essence of joy about you, otherwise it's not worth it.
Okay, can I ask you, when you look at, you've been working 25 years in real estate, and you must
26.
Have 26 years, 26, okay. You consider yourself working for many more years in real estate?
Yeah,
yeah,
I can.
Okay,
because I love it.
Deline, I want to ask you, when you see these guys and girls now, when you see guys and girls in their 20s, right, or early 30s, that, and some of them work here, some of them you just see them in the industry overall, and they struggle in real estate, right? People in that struggle in real estate in 2018, what is it you think that they're not doing, that you're doing, that keeps you at the top of the game?
Work harder.
Right.
I don't think anybody out there in the public eye cares when real estate agents say, I'm having a really hard time. They don't care. Yeah. My secret is when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. If you're finding it hard, make more calls. If you're finding the market hard, do more work, because you're not seeing the opportunities when there are there. And I think that really is the key.
So,
don't sit there and wait for the phone to ring. Make it happen.
okay, what you're seeing there is someone that's taking personal responsibility. Don't hope that it's easier. Hope you're better. And what Delene is saying is, if it's shit, don't look at what it is. You look at what you can actually do about a situation. You're very much, like, your style is very much a contact sport. You like talking to a lot of people.
And you know what? If it's bad news, I want to be the giver of the bad news, but also see how we can turn it around. There's a book that I'm reading at the moment called The Obstacle is the Way.
Yeah,
and
Ryan Halliday, I think.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes.
And you look at what is in front of you. If there's a very big boulder in the road and you think that you can't get past it, look at that as the way to learn, rather than sitting there saying it's too hard, it's too hard, it's too hard. Stop creating that self-doubt within, and work out a way that you can make it better.
Okay, so Delene, I have to tell you, it's funny you bring up that book, because that has to be in my top 5 books. I love that writer. I think he's just an extraordinary writer. But for those that are new to that book, what he basically, the obstacle is the way, is all about embracing that the challenge, that it is actually normal, and get comfortable being uncomfortable. It's part of life, right? Can I ask you, Delene, when you get overwhelmed or stressed, and by the way, to everyone, there's no questions beforehand, like Delene wasn't even doing this interview, but we've got to spare 10 minutes, so we're shooting it now. When you get stressed, overwhelmed, there's a lot happening at the one time, is there any tips that you can share that get you sort of back on track?
Totally. If I know that I'm going to have a busy week, busy day, whatever, like I did this morning, I'll just take 15 minutes and meditate, because it really does, I think we've touched on this before, it just puts things, just for me, into perspective. It makes you see the bigger picture. It's more than panicking over this one deal, like this call has to be done straight away. It puts things in perspective. No one's going to die. If you handle it well, then you don't need to handle it 5 times to fix what you've done the first time, which is wrong. If you panic and run into something, you will do it wrong. So germinate, think about a strategy, think about your strategy that's going to get you and your clients, or whatever situation you're in, there. Don't be reactive. Be proactive and not reactive. I think that's the key.
Delene, for me, real estate is about attracting more buyers by having more resources and negotiation, right? What do you like, for me, what do you love most about real estate?
I love getting the listing. I love dealing with buyers as well. I like taking buyers from where they are to where they need to be. I love the process.
How much do you think? How much do you think a good agent can influence as a percentage the price of a property? 1%? 10%?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you believe that your ability to have conversation with buyers can get them up 10% more than a substandard agent.
Absolutely. I think it's the market knowledge. It's the way that you do it, as well as the conversations that you have. I mean, not the one conversation you have with the buyer. It's the 10 conversations you have with that same buyer. So you can't go up to the buyer in the auction room, having not spoken to them before, having not met them at the open, having not had any context of what their needs are, and say, can I get another 50? The buyer's going to say, who are you? So you need to have built that relationship with the buyer and also the vendor. And I think one of the great things that I pride myself on and I work on all the time is building those relationships, not just with the vendor, but with the buyers as well, because today's buyers are tomorrow's sellers. So why would you disregard a buyer and not make contact with that buyer and not want to make a relationship with that buyer? And when you do call that buyer throughout the course of the campaign, they're going to want to hear from you. So you're building that relationship, and that takes hard work, that takes time, that takes patience, and that takes skill.
Are you a good negotiator?
I think I am, yes. Not with my 2.5-year-old. She just says no and then cries. So she wins every time.
Okay, so I mean, I'm fascinated by, like, Delene, I want to talk about the fact that treating adults that are buying and selling, and so what you're saying is you find that more challenging, like with a 2-year-old?
No, I think it's cute. With vendors, you understand the behaviour because you've been there before. It's a learned
skill.
It's a learned skill. So if a vendor is reacting a certain way because they're yelling because they're not getting the price they want, or the message they're getting is not the message that they want, you understand how to work around that because it's information based, it's data based, and it's maybe time based as well. So I think also, we were talking about this before, you need to be a chameleon. You need to understand that it's not your message that you need to deliver. You need to deliver a message to them in the way that they understand and they'll appreciate. Because no one likes to be punched in the face. I wouldn't like either. I want the person that's working for me to be working for me.
Okay, can I ask you, bad news is a fact of life in real estate across Australia at the moment, more than, say, the last few years. And that's, you've been working in real estate for 25 years, you know that it's quite normal to have vendors not getting the number that they want originally. Can I ask you, how does someone, what's the secret at actually that bad news conversation with people?
You don't have to deliver bad news every time.
Right.
I don't want to be the person that, if I'm calling you, I'm selling your house. I don't want you to loathe every time I call you. It's like, oh God, it's Delene on the phone again, more bad news. You have to pepper it with positivity as well, because not everything's bad. Even in a bad market, there's still people coming through your home, you're still getting good traction, you're still getting good email inquiry. Maybe we need to adjust the price in accordance with the market that's coming through. But every single time you deliver bad news, no one's going to want to hear from you.
Delene, so very good. Don't actually become so predictable that they actually think that all I've done, it's become a punching bag.
Nothing's so bad.
Okay, I want to ask you this. In your early years in real estate, getting traction, building your personal brand, getting listings, versus now, you're an attraction agent now. I mean, I know people call you because they say, she's my agent, right? So you get a lot of business because of the brand attraction. And there's a saying, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. A lot of people know you now. What happened when people didn't know you? What's the advice that you give to the guys or girls that are new in the business to get traction?
Can I just say this? I was talking to someone about this the other day. I still work, can I say, was it?
Whatever you want to say.
Okay, I still work my ass off. I worked my ass off when I started. I work my ass off now. Nothing has changed. It's nice to get those phone calls, but you can't rely on them. You need to have systems in place, because I might be working on 6 or 8 or I'm running 16 listings at the moment. 16 at the moment you're running. You're yourself. 16 listings in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. Yes.
Okay. So you've got a team member to help you?
I've got 2 team members that help me at opens, but I still have to do my vendor management. I still have to be at the opens or make contact with my vendors. I still have to do, and I write my own vendor reports. I'm still making sure that I'm the person that those vendors are choosing and communicating with, because they don't want someone that they don't know to be giving them the news that is a really important piece of information, and talking about their most valuable tax-free asset in a lot of cases. So how would you feel if you employed me to sell your place and then all of a sudden you're making contact with someone giving you bad news that you've never met before? Or maybe only met once. So I take a very personal responsibility with that. It means a lot to me, because I think, how would I want to be treated if that was my place? So I'm running those, but I'm also looking at what I need to do, not next month, the month after, the month after that, the month after that. I'm running the 2 agencies, I'm running my household, but it's life, and it's how you manage it that makes you enjoy it.
Okay, so again, everyone watching this, she's a business owner. 1.5, let's call it 2, right? 2 kids. Still got 16 vendors. So right now, if you're a salesperson that is only got 3 listings, you don't have all these personal responsibilities at home, I've got to say, maybe this is the interview that is the wake-up call to say you have everything available for you to succeed, and maybe you've got to stop making excuses and bullshit like it's too hard, I'm too young, there's no listings, I don't have time. How can she have time? How can you not have time? Think about it. I think that, and it's not only for, this is to guys. I mean, there's a bunch of guys out there that, have got 3 or 4 listings that are running around. She's got 16 listings. The average price of those would be what, 2 mil? 2 mil? Yeah. Okay. Final, can I ask you your 3 non-negotiables to success in real estate?
Hard work. Discipline, routine.
Hard work, discipline, routine, gang. At that point, let's thank our number 1. I've got to say, you'd have to be the number 1, potentially, I would say in 25 years, female agent. Landon Simmons number 1 for what, a decade?
16 years,
16 years. Must get very boring for everyone else who goes to those awards. Anyway, Delene, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.